We're here talking with an artist, an innovator, and a dedicated environmental activist, Jay Peachy. He has done paintings, radio shows, television programs, and innumerable live events in support of creating healthier, more inclusive, and more caring communities.
Yeah, well, I'd like to acknowledge, of course, we're here in the unceded Coast Salish territory, and this is Tsleil-Waututh, and shared territory of Squamish, Musqueam, and multiple languages that have kind of intersected this area. Burnaby Mountain, as I've come to know, was a lookout for Musqueam warriors. They would look up and see invaders from the north that either come from Tsleil-Waututh or tribes coming down to steal women or resources or land so that there was a lookout up here. So many people know me as a salmon activist, but the intersectionality between environmentalism and social justice with a lens from that fisheye view is where a lot of my work comes from. Kinder Morgan Resistance, I was here active doing radio interviews prior to the whole blow up within Junction. So I was there when, at the ground level. And that's where I typically like to go as before kind of the crowds move in. So that grassroots, I really like being at that level, and that's where the truth is on the ground. And it's kind of like, if you think of a fire, I like being there when the kindling starts, and who's there and witnessing it. Once you go down that rabbit hole, like to be arrested, that's the manufactured system that has been created. The corporations know this, right? And so they know how to play the system and make it work in their favor. They have unlimited resources. They've got lawyers. They can intimidate people. They can just use strong language, and the RCMP has got to do their job. What I do is I try and find the different mediums and how to make them work. I mean, that is a resource. Through Facebook and Twitter, it's new power tools for the grassroots that really hadn't existed before. On broadcast television, in the time since 2009, 2010, like on video production, we were still like producing on tape and then converting it like for community broadcast. And Twitter and social media had just kind of come into mainstream use and following, right? So the intersection between both is what I try to do. I just use it as another art medium. I also utilize the whole process of working with media, both on broadcast and social media, to empower individuals in their voice, because they feel that they're on the outside. But when I bring them into community television studio that's publicly accessible, like their mind kind of shifts, right, on what the possibilities are, right? Just like you've come here for radio, and we have the same tools as the mainstream media, and they follow us, right? The stories follow us because we're closer to the ground, right? And they're subject to only so many stories, and they got to sell advertising. And Don Staniford, an activist who I'd followed, he was a campaigner against open net farm salmon, and I'd interviewed him, similar to like what we're doing now, right? And he said the job of an activist is to poke authority in the eye and watch what their reaction is. And so that is the job, because you're testing the system, not for the thrill of testing the system, because if you're going to do it for the thrills, then you're not prepared for the blowback. And if you're not prepared for the blowback, you will die, basically, because the system will crush you, right? So you got to be able to like retreat. You just got to do the work on the ground, and that's a direct action. Direct action is what changes things, right? Like, social media can be utilized as an advantage. If there's enough people watching, they can propagate the message. But it's all about the trusted carriers of that message. But definitely doubt, time and resources, and social standing for sure. If you have clarity, there's no doubt to what you're doing. So it's like standing on the corner and still being there as people go by, right? There's a level of consistency just by being on that corner, and then other people don't have a doubt.